Hey folks, I am Kevin Iole of Yahoo Sports, and one of the great fighters in the world is going to be back in action next week on June 12th. He is going to be fighting a knockout artist of sorts, Jeremiah Nakathila. Of course, I'm talking about Shakur Stevenson, number 9 in the Yahoo Sports pound for pound poll. How are you, Shakur?
I'm good. I'm just, staying focused and getting ready to put on the show next week.
I don't know that there's a lot of people who are going to be watching this who know much about Jeremiah Nakathila. He's an undefeated fighter, a lot of knockouts out of Namibia and Africa, 21-1, undefeated, 21-1 with 17 knockouts. And I was watching his highlight reel. I don't know how good the guys he's fighting are, but when he hits them, they're going all over the place. Knock one guy out of the ring, another guy out about half over the ropes. What do you know about this guy?
I know just as much as you know. I think that I don't really know too much about him. I'm a little bit blind, but at the end of the day, if I'm being honest with you, none of the fighters he knocked out is me. So I know he coming in there. He probably trained hard, put in the work. I trained hard. I put in the work, but none of them dudes is me. It's too different. It's a whole different level.
I've always felt that, since you turned pro, I've been really high on your development, and I put you in my pound for pound top 10, which a lot of people have given me grief over. But I look at it and I go, the way you're dominating these guys and what you're doing in the ring has just been so impressive. How do you get yourself up, though? I know it's for an interim championship and to lead to a bigger fight, but how do you get yourself up, though, when you know little about a guy? He's not considered to be a big threat to you. How do you get yourself motivated and ready to be on point for that fight?
Because you watch, I'm a student of the game, and I watch upsets over the years. I don't watch fighters like Andrew Ruiz going there and beat Anthony Joshua, or Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson, or I don't watch so many upsets to where people will downplay a fighter and think like, okay, oh, this fighter can't beat him, or oh, who is this guy? This guy's a bum. Then they go in the ring and they fight these fighters and they get beat. So I watch all of that, and I know you should never sleep on nobody, and you should never go in the ring. You putting your life on the line. You should never go in the ring thinking, okay, I'm going to just beat this guy. He's a bum. I don't think that way. I think that this guy probably put in a lot of work. He's coming in there to beat me, and that makes me get up in the morning to go put my strength conditioning work in, or my miles in, or whatever. I put my work in because I know there's somebody out there that want to take my head off.
And you reference, these. Is there a common thread that you see in the upsets where these big favorites end up losing? Is it that they underestimate the guy they're fighting, or is it that the guy they're fighting is better than most people think?
I think it's a combination of both. I think that fighters, they start to believe what the public say. Sometimes you got fans and people tweeting you, Instagramming you, and all this kind of stuff. They telling you, oh, that you this, and oh, this dude is a bum. You start to believe what they saying, and you start to believe everything that they saying is true, instead of giving this guy the respect that 9 times out of 10 the fighter deserve. And I think that's really why I know for a fact I can't sleep on nobody. I can't go in there sleeping on somebody. And like I say, I feel like it's a combination of both. I think that maybe sometimes these fighters do be better than. Well, 9 times out of 10, they are better than what, as you watch with Josh Warrington, the dude he fought, Lara or whatever his name is, you never heard of him, don't know who he is. He go in there, he annihilates Josh Warrington.
Right.
Frampton done tried to do it. Lee Selby done tried to do it. He done fought some big fights where people done tried to do that to Josh Warrington, but then the guy that nobody even knows give Josh Warrington hell. So, like I say, I just got to go in there and tune these people out, tune them out. I don't hear nothing they talking about. I'm getting ready for the fight of my life in my head. So.
Now, there's a lot of stake here because you get the WBO interim title. And that prompts a question because, I know you were at the Oscar Valdez, Miguel Berchelt fight. I got a chance to talk to you briefly after that fight ended, Oscar Valdez with a dramatic knockout. if you win this WBO title, it looks like you'd be fighting Jamel Herring, but I know you want to fight Oscar Valdez. So where do you go if you come out successful? Do you have a preference, or is it going to be kind of whichever works out better for you in Top Rank that you'll take?
See, look, the thing is, I don't feel like I'm just number one in the WBO. I might be number one in WBC too. I gotta check the rankings. I don't know the rankings.
I have the rankings up in front of me. Well, and they're not these ones that I'm looking at right now are not updated because they still have Burchelt listed at number one. So that's not the most updated ranking, but I have those in front of me. But yeah, so you certainly have.
I'm high up there on the WBC, right? I'm
right.
really high.
So you have the option. So
I think that the thing is, don't get me wrong, like Jamel is champion right now. If I got to go through Jamel to get what I want, I don't mind, because I go in there and do him dirty. That's how I feel about it. But my preference, if I after this fight, I feel like I should be fighting Valdez next. I feel like Valdez is young. I'm young. We both undefeated, hungry lions, never lost before. I think that is a big, big fight. I think it's a big, big fight for the boxing world, and the biggest fight at 130 pounds, if you ask me. Jamel's 35, past his prime. He got 2 losses already. I don't see the point in, me and him fighting. I see more point in me and Valdez getting in the ring, because it's a bigger fight, bigger money, bigger payday, and it's best versus the best. That's how I feel.
So let's ask you a little bit about Oscar. I guess I was way off. I thought Burchelt would win that fight. I just thought his physical size and he had been on a roll with a number of good wins. Oscar dominated that fight all the way. What did you see in there? Did Oscar impress you in that fight?
Yeah, he definitely impressed me. I thought the same thing you thought. I thought Valdez was going to stand there and trade with him, and Burchelt was going to be too much for him. I think Valdez's amateur experience came into play. I feel like his IQ came into play, and I feel like he outboxed Burchelt. And I feel like that's what he did. I think he pulled a major upset, and he did what he was supposed to do. So he definitely surprised me, and I got nothing but respect for that victory right there.
So when you put yourself in there, you're a totally different fighter than Burchelt, right? And you're going to box a different style. Can you sit there and watch him in the ring and envision yourself in there? Do you have that ability to kind of close your eyes and see yourself going up against him?
Yeah, most definitely. I think that like sitting there watching it and seeing me versus him is like, it's a really good fight. It's interesting. It's real interesting, because you got a fighter that's a puncher, and he can also box a little bit. He got a good IQ, got a good amateur background, also been to the Olympics, twice. You gotta respect Valdez. And then you got another fighter who went to the Olympics, silver medal. He's a great fighter. He show himself is untouchable, hard to hit. I just think it just make for a very interesting fight. A big test for me, a big test for Valdez, and I think that that's what make boxing good. Like, I think fights like that bring boxing, put boxing back on the map, and I think that that's a fight that need to happen next.
I think there's a ton of guys, 25 and under, which I really respect. I love what you guys are trying to do. Fight the best. I've been calling for, hey, let's get these, number one contenders and these champions and different organizations to fight each other. We saw it with Ramirez and Taylor doing that. Devin Haney last week, called out Teofimo Lopez. He wants to do that. From your standpoint, do you feel like that's a necessity for boxing to get, boxing used to be the most popular sport in the U.S., many years ago, not so much anymore. Do you feel that's the necessity to get boxing back to that level where you have the champions unifying and it's easier to identify who is the belt holder?
Yeah, I think that that's definitely a necessity. I think that boxing is going to come back, and I think it's going to come back through us younger fighters like me, T.O., Devin, Tank, Ryan. You got Keyshawn Davis on the way. I think that all of us is going to bring boxing back. I think that we just gotta fight each other. We gotta have the big fights. We gotta all get in the ring and be willing to make big fights happen, like me and Valdez, uh, Tank versus a T.O. or Devin versus a T.O. or Ryan versus one of them guys. I think that that's what's gonna bring boxing back. I think that it's our time now. Like I think we about to take over the sport, and I think that it's gonna be a great era.
You know, not that this isn't anything to do with you, but you mentioned Keyshawn Davis, and I just have to ask you about this. Came in with a ton of hype. Saw him fight, was it a couple weeks ago? I can't say for all the hype I had heard, I wasn't as impressed with him. How good is this guy, and what do you think he's going to be when he's mature and a full pro?
I mean, like you gotta realize, you gotta understand certain styles make fights. So the dude that he fought had a difficult kind of style to fight, but I thought he did. He did what he's supposed to do. He walked him down, beat him up, hurt him, dropped him. Probably couldn't get the finish. The guy was kind of had enough power to keep him off of him. And like being honest, I think that Keyshawn Davis is a bad fighter. Like he's a really good fighter.
From everybody
like,
says
bad motherfucker. That kid can fight. Like I done been in the ring with a lot of people since a kid. Like I remember Keyshawn from when I was a kid and he was a kid, and I go into gym in Norfolk and I spar with everybody in Norfolk. Like everybody, I do like probably like 15, 16 rounds and straight with everybody in there. And then Keyshawn to get in there. Keyshawn to be the one that give me the best work. Mind you, at that time I'm like 114. He like 101. So he's like the smallest one, and he's in there like really trying to beat me up and have no type of respect for me. And I think that's what kind of made me adapt to him, and we kind of got closer. But being real with you, that kid can fight. I done seen like I'll be real, like I done seen him in there with these fighters today that you think is can really fight, and he going in there with these fighters and looking like the same way as he looked with everybody else. So
that is awesome.
Dominant.
You know,
that's what he is. He's dominant.
When you talk, you know, and you're talking about him, and you mentioned Norfolk, which it makes me think of Floyd Mayweather and Pernell Whitaker, right? Because when Floyd was a young guy, he got in there and did the same thing with Pernell, and Pernell. I remember Pernell saying, "This guy can fight, and this guy's going to be something else." And now here you are, the stud fighter, and you're talking about Keyshawn, so he's going to be a guy to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure. I'm telling you, I won't tell you no lies. Like I sit here and I talk like I ain't just gonna vouch for a fighter that ain't really that. And that kid, that's a different kid. Like I'm telling you, I watched it firsthand. He can fight.
You sure? Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on him. Let's wrap this up very quickly right here, Shakur. You know, and I mentioned before you're number 9 in the Yahoo Sports pound for pound poll. How far along do you feel you are? How close are you to being at your peak where now, you know, you're just going to run it off? I mean, do you still have a lot of runway to get better?
Yeah, I think that I got a lot more better to get. I think that I'm only 23 right now. So I feel like I'm not even like in my prime. Like I'm maybe getting close to it, but I'm not in my prime yet. I think that I'm gonna get a lot better, and I think I'm gonna take over the sport. I think at the end of the day, all I need is the big fights. All I need is another fighter to say yes, and once they say yes, and we get in the ring, and I'm gonna be able to show who I really am. So, just waiting on it, you know, just sitting back waiting.
Love the talent, love the attitude. Can't wait to see him fight on June 12th. That is Shakur Stevenson, the silver medalist from the Olympics, former featherweight champion. Champ, I appreciate you, brother. All the best on the 12th.
I appreciate you too.
Thanks, man.